Hey everyone, and welcome back to Open. Our last guest is a Puerto Rican multidisciplinary performing artist from the South Bronx who is rising from the ashes. She centers her inner healing journey through veganism, trauma processing, inner child work, poetry, and writing. Her work can be seen in publications such as her book, The Boogie Down Vegan, BX Writers Anthology Volume 2, and her short film, Fire Lily. She's performed professionally at a Signature Theater Company and XX Theater Company. And everyone, please welcome multidisciplinary performing artist and poet, Phoenix Ríszing from the ashes.
Yes. Thank you.
Let's talk about that name first. Yes, that's a metamorphosis, right?
Yeah.
So when did you discover Phoenix Ríszing?
Actually discovered her 2022. I've definitely earned the name. Growing up in the Bronx and having been raised in poverty and having parents who on the mental illness spectrum, I've endured a lot of things. I'm the first in my family to go to college, graduate, been to 5 continents, 22 countries, and I've struggled with my own mental health. So for me, I went through a rebirth. I had some support with women who are in the healing space, in the healing community, and I went through my rebirth and I got that name. It was actually given to me during a ego death, kind of crisis, breakdown.
What did you say? Ego death?
An ego death, yeah. I went through an ego death.
Crisis?
Yeah.
Breakdown?
Yeah. I had a mental health crisis. I had an episode. I broke down, and my spirit team, my ancestors, my guides, they came and they visited me and they told me that was my name.
So if you don't mind, what does an episode look like?
It's awful. I think a lot of people probably have gone through this where you're just feeling super empty and honestly done with life, but you're at that breaking point of right? Suicide, these kind of things are like heavy topics in our community and in the world in general. It's hard to talk about, but that's where I was.
Is that what inspired Lily, the short film?
Yes.
I saw it.
There's some elements of that in there.
And I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Oh, but it's good that you're able to talk about it.
Yeah, that's
right?
me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been that way. In my work, I'm very raw. And I think that's the Bronx part of me. We have that raw flavor, that raw, uncandid, unapologetic, we wear our hearts on our sleeve. And that's kind of how I like to be as an artist, whether I'm writing or acting or modeling, whatever it is I'm doing. So yeah, it's in the film for sure.
Yeah, so I do want to say, and we'll probably be showing some B-roll as we're discussing this, the rubber band, I thought that was clever.
Thank you.
Because it's indirectly insinuating, right? A thought process. And the other thing I want to say that I noticed in researching you is you do a lot of crying.
Yeah, I do.
You do a lot of public crying.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And I
and it's crazy because I struggled to cry for a long time because I wasn't processing my trauma. I was doing what a lot of us do, which is coping with alcohol and sex and drugs and all those things. And when I started to heal, the tears were just flowing and I was like, this feels good. It feels horrible, but it feels good. At the same time, that release is so healing, scientifically, spiritually, on every level. So yeah, I cry. I don't care.
No, I
love it.
I'm all about release, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
Because that's really what it represents. It's releasing. You're releasing it from your body.
Exactly.
But you do ugly crying.
Yeah, I do. I have a video. So you saw my video.
I research you. That's what I do.
Okay, shout out to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a video of me, and that was a rough day. But for me, I'm so in tune with myself and my inner child that sometimes it's her that needs to do the crying. Because when I was young, you couldn't cry, right? When you have grown up the way that I grew up in a very strict Latino household,
right, where they're like, don't cry.
You better not even bother.
Right.
So for me, it's like I give space to that little girl, and I'm remothering her and reparenting her, and I allow her to cry. So sometimes I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, she's up today. Okay, cool. We're doing that. Some days I'm me.
Right.
And she's just happily allowing me to be me. But then there's some days where she really needs that love and that support, and it might be because I'm triggered or the world is a little bit unstable and I'm feeling away. So
why is it important for you to capture it and share it publicly?
Because people need to see what healing looks like. We talk about healing so much, like you need to go heal, you need to go to therapy, but that's not always conducive to what people really need. Sometimes you do need to just kind of sit with yourself, run yourself a little spiritual bath, especially as women. Like, we're so out of touch with our wombs and our actual like indigenous practices that we forget that this is actually how we alchemize, right? And we talked about alchemy earlier.
Yeah, you heard.
The Alchemist is my favorite book as well. So
yes, we have that in common.
Yes.
It is my favorite
I love
of all
that book.
times. Yeah, Language of the World, baby.
Beautiful book.
Yes.
That's actually like what that inspired like my artist name. Phoenix the Alchemist is one of my artist names. So yeah.
Oh, really? Look at that.
Yep.
Oh my.
That's what I go by.
Right. Well, because you're a multidisciplinary artist and we're talking about your healing process. And of course, that's part of all of your work, right?
Yeah.
So I also shared that you authored a book. And let's talk about how you became a vegan and when you became a vegan and how that's also assisted in your healing process, because food is medicine.
Exactly. So I went vegan almost 8 years ago in 2017. So my senior year of college. And it was honestly just from watching a documentary. So circling back to the power of film and why I'm so passionate about being, you know, in front of the camera or even behind it, I watched this documentary and I went vegan overnight. I was never vegan prior to that. I was eating, you know, McDonald's, Popeyes, all of that. And when I started to go vegan, I started to become a lot more in tune with myself, in tune with my body, my environment. I noticed for the first time that I was part of nature. It was like that didn't even occur to me that I was of nature. So I went on that journey and I was just like, let me just make all this food. And I was posting it on Instagram and people were like, oh my God, that looks so good. Like, how do I go vegan? What do I do? I was overwhelmed, I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of people were messaging me and I wanted to help everyone. And I said, you know what? Why don't I just make a book and put it in one place where everyone can access it? So I made this book called The Boogie Down Vegan. And it's really just dedicated to like Bronx people, low income people, Latinos, people of color, just kind of touching on the same cuisine that we normally would eat, but just plant-based version. And yeah, my life has just been so great since.
It's important that you say low income because what's happened is like it's become its own commercialized market. And then it's like a luxury to be a vegan because you can't afford the food that you need in order to design this lifestyle.
Yeah, and that creates a limit and barrier. We have to talk about like food insecurity, food access. I mean, the Bronx has the highest rates of obesity, diabetes, all of these things. We are most impacted by it. So for me, it's very important to have people understand that if you know how to cook, which a lot of Bronx people, we love how to cook, you can do this. You can be vegan.
And then you partner up with somebody like Cashawn and you grow your own stuff.
Boom.
And that's as organic as it gets.
Exactly. We're taking over, you know, healing our people up and down, left and right. Let's go.
Yeah. I love that we're concluding this entire episode with our relation to nature and being of nature and understanding where our true existence lies, right? It lies in coexisting and understanding the benefits on both sides.
100%.
Yeah. So before we go, we have to talk about you as a writer, as a poet, right? Because poetry is as metaphoric as it gets, right? We already discussed the film, we discussed the book, and now you're going to be presenting a poem for us. So let's talk about that.
So spoken word is something that I kind of got my footing in as an artist, and I started doing spoken word in 2021. It was honestly just helping me cope with life. It had nothing to really do with like the pandemic. It was really just my mental health journey. I was struggling. I needed an outlet. So I started writing my feelings. And people started asking me to come perform. And when I did, I was dominating. Like I just, you know, I got people messaging me like, can you come here and perform? Can you come here? We'll pay you. And I was just like, wow, like I could get paid to be an artist. So I've been writing for my whole entire life since I was a little girl as a way to cope with like my life. But now I am actually moving into music and acting and other things. So expect all of the things. That's why I like to go by multidisciplinary, because I'm a writer, always been a writer, but some days I don't want to be a poet. Some days I want to just be an actress and I don't want to have to touch a pen or anything. And I want that ability to have that freedom and not be a label, be put in a box, because that's what being human is to me. It's a colorful spectrum.
Yeah, and that's what the title Artist encompasses, right?
Yep, tú sabes.
Yeah, ya tú sabes. Exactly, ya tú sabes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Phoenix Ríszing, everybody.
Love. Thank you so much.
She's going to be performing for us, so stay tuned. You don't want to miss it, all right, after the break. Hey everyone, welcome back here now to perform Woman of the Hour. Let's give it up for Phoenix Ríszing.
Sad black girls who tolerate everything and nothing. Abuse is like our unescapable shadow. It seems no matter our age, everyone wants to project their rage and expel their demons onto us. As black girls, we're everyone's punching bag. So where do we learn trust? Ain't it funny how when we get mad and we fight back, they don't fight fair? Except it was never fair. What they've done to us, what they're still doing, you see, a war on blackness is a war on divinity. Never test the Holy Trinity, mess with my energy, you're gonna have to answer to the past, present, and future me. Good thing I know how to fight though. I've been fighting off suicidal thoughts like they was my ex. What makes you think I won't kick your teeth in? My home is the X. Phoenix from the BX got scars so deep the ocean is jealous. Might be a little rebellious because my birthright is freedom. So if my Harriet Tubman is showing, you best stay on track. You best mind your business. I never needed a reason or a witness to confirm my greatness. Let them wonder how I turn pain into power. A true alchemist, woman of the hour. Unruly, but I ain't gonna let my trauma ruin me. My bloodline is built for anything. Tell my challenges to come meet me at the scratch line. I'll make them fumble before halftime. I'll make them wish they never met me. Being in competition with anyone other than myself is a waste of my damn energy. A lot of people be all bark and no bite. So tell me, where'd you learn how to fight?
Yes, Phoenix Rising. Oh my gosh, I gotta give you a hug for just coming with it and just being honest and sharing it with our viewers like that. You know, you guys,
Thank you so
that's
much.
Phoenix Rising, and I just gotta applaud your bravery. And yes, and your openness, because we are open here, mi gente. But the truth of the matter is if you know anyone who is in need of help, definitely give them a call.
Yes, or call me.
Or call Phoenix
Yes,
Rising.
call me.
Ya tú sabes. Once again, for more information, you can follow Phoenix Rising on Instagram at Phoenix Rising. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all of our guests for coming through and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out this episode throughout the weekend and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rena Valentin. And from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Happy Latine Heritage Month, mi gente. Adios.